Sairam and good morning. Here we are on day 2 of the conference on Sanathana Dharma. Yesterday, in the afternoon after our session together, I dwelled upon Murthy Sir's words of how he started his speech talking about the secret to eternal peace and happiness, which is Sanatana Dharma. I will have to consult with the other organizers, but I think we will be able to share the recording in the next few days once they are ready. A recording of the conference. We will let you know. So here we are on day 2. Today will be more of an interactive session. You will see what I mean by that in a short while. As yesterday, we will be starting the day's proceedings with a prayer session. And with this, I pass on the mic to Malte, brother. Please, Malte, go ahead. Sairam.
ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। ॐ भूर्भुवस्वः तत्सवितुर्वरेण्यं भर्गो देवस्य धीमहि धियो यो न प्रचोदयात्। ॐ सा ईश्वराय विद्महि सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ सा ईश्वराय विद्महि सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ सा ईश्वराय विद्महि सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वप्रचोदयात्। ॐ शांति शांति शांति। गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाच्येभिर्वाचिनीवती दीनामवित्र्यवतुः। गणेशाय नमः, सरस्वत्यै नमः, श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः, हरिः ओम। शांति शांति शांतिः।
सुंदर सुंदर विनायका, सुंदर विनायका, सुंदर सुंदर विनायका, सुंदर विनायका, शुभमंगलदायक विनायका, शुभमंगलदायक विनायका, शुभमंगलदायक विनायका, शुभमंगलदायक विनायका, विघ्नकोटिहर विमल गजानन, विघ्नकोटिहर विमल गजानन, विघ्नकोटिहर विमल गजानन, विघ्नकोटिहर विमल गजानन, सकल विघ्न हर पाहि गजानन, सकल विघ्न हर पाहि गजानन, सकल विघ्न हर पाहि गजानन, ईश्वरी नंदन परति गजानन, ईश्वरी नंदन परति गजानन, ईश्वरी नंदन परति गजानन, ईश्वरी नंदन परति गजानन, सुंदर सुंदर विनायका, सुंदर सुंदर विनायका, शुभमंगलदायक विनायका, शुभमंगलदायक विनायका, विघ्नकोटिहर विमल गजानन, विघ्नकोटिहर विमल गजानन, सकल विघ्न हर पाहि गजानन, सकल विघ्न हर पाहि गजानन, ईश्वरी नंदन परति गजानन, ईश्वरी नंदन परति गजानन, ईश्वरी नंदन परति गजानन,
सोहम सोहम ध्यान करो। सोहम सोहम ध्यान करो। सोहम सोहम ध्यान करो। सोहम सोहम ध्यान करो। सद्गुरु साई ध्यान करो। सद्गुरु साई ध्यान करो। सद्गुरु साई ध्यान करो। सद्गुरु साई ध्यान करो। सोहम सोहम ध्यान करो। सोहम सोहम ध्यान करो। सोहम ब्रह्मा सोहम विष्णु। सोहम ब्रह्मा सोहम विष्णु। सोहम ब्रह्मा सोहम विष्णु। सोहम ब्रह्मा सोहम विष्णु। सोहम साई ध्यान करो। सोहम साई ध्यान करो। सोहम साई ध्यान करो। सोहम साई ध्यान करो। सोहम आत्मा शिव परमात्मा। सोहम आत्मा शिव परमात्मा। सोहम आत्मा शिव परमात्मा। सोहम शिव परमात्मा। ब्रह्मानंद से हृदय भरो। ब्रह्मानंद से हृदय भरो। ब्रह्मानंद से हृदय भरो। ब्रह्मानंद से हृदय भरो। सोहम सोहम ध्यान करो। ध्यान करो। सद्गुरु साई ध्यान करो। ध्यान करो। सोहम सोहम ध्यान करो। ध्यान करो। सोहम ब्रह्मा सोहम विष्णु। ब्रह्मा सोहम विष्णु। सोहम साई ध्यान करो। सोहम साई ध्यान करो। सोहम आत्मा शिव परमात्मा। सोहम आत्मा शिव परमात्मा। ब्रह्मानंद से हृदय भरो। ब्रह्मानंद से हृदय भरो। ब्रह्मानंद से हृदय भरो। ब्रह्मानंद से हृदय भरो। सोहम सोहम ध्यान करो। सत्य स्वरूपिणी मां साई प्रेम स्वरूपिणी माँ
स्वरूपिणी माँ साई प्रेम स्वरूपिणी माँ
सत्य स्वरूपिणी माँ साई प्रेम स्वरूपिणी माँ
स्वरूपिणी माँ साई प्रेम स्वरूपिणी माँ
आनंददायिनी हृदय निवासिनी पति निवासिनी माँ
आनंददायिनी हृदय निवासिनी पति निवासिनी माँ
परमानंददायिनी हृदय निवासिनी पति निवासिनी माँ
आनंददायिनी हृदय निवासिनी पति निवासिनी माँ
विघ्न विनाशिनी भव भयहारिणी कालिक पालिनी माँ
विनाशिनी भवभयहारिणी कालिकपालिनी माँ
विघ्न विनाशिनी भव भयहारिणी कालिक पालिनी माँ
विनाशिनी भवभयहारिणी कालिकपालिनी माँ
हे त्रिभुवन पालिनी मंगलकारिणी मोक्ष प्रदायिनी माँ
त्रिभुवन पालिनी मंगलकारिणी मोक्षप्रदायिनी माँ
हे त्रिभुवन पालिनी मंगलकारिणी मोक्ष प्रदायिनी माँ
त्रिभुवन पालिनी मंगलकारिणी मोक्षप्रदायिनी माँ
परमानंददायिनी हृदय निवासिनी पति निवासिनी 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 माँ
सत्य स्वरूपिणी माँ साई प्रेम स्वरूपिणी माँ
सत्य स्वरूपिणी माँ साई प्रेम स्वरूपिणी माँ
परमानंददायिनी हृदय निवासिनी पति निवासिनी माँ
परमानंददायिनी हृदय निवासिनी पति निवासिनी माँ
विघ्न विनाशिनी भव भयहारिणी कालिक पालिनी माँ
विघ्न विनाशिनी भवभयहारिणी कालिकपालिनी माँ
हे त्रिभुवन पालिनी मंगलकारिणी मोक्ष प्रदायिनी माँ
हे त्रिभुवन पालिनी मंगलकारिणी मोक्षप्रदायिनी माँ
परमानंददायिनी हृदय निवासिनी पति निवासिनी 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 माँ
सत्य स्वरूपिणी माँ साई प्रेम स्वरूपिणी माँ नंदलाला नंदलाला दया करो भगवान से पार उतारो। भवसागर से पार उतारो। दया करो भगवान, कृपा करो भगवान। तुम्हारी शरण बिना नाथ है हम। तुम्हारी शरण बिना नाथ है हम। दया करो भगवान, कृपा करो भगवान। साई कृपा करो भगवान। नंदलाला नंदलाला, दया करो भगवान। भवसागर से पार उतारो। दया करो भगवान, कृपा करो भगवान। तुम्हारी शरण बिना नाथ है हम। दया करो भगवान, कृपा करो भगवान। नंदलाला नंदलाला, दया करो भगवान।
I think that was a great way to start today's session as well. So this morning we have an excerpt from one of Swami's discourses. Precisely Swami's Krishna Janmashtami discourse this year. The last 10 minutes were, his words in those last 10 minutes were very apt for Sanathana Dharma, for the current situation in the world today. So basically what you will be seeing now is a video which will have subtitles in Italian because it was prepared for also the Italian devotees, but Swami speaks in English. So after which we will have one of our coordinators, Sister Taya from Turkey, who will deliberate upon Swami's words and share what comes to heart. Thank you.
is for all. And this establishment of Sanatana Dharma in the hearts of all mankind is the ultimate, the acme, the ultimate, the fulcrum, the crux of the mission is this. That Atma Vidya or Brahma Vidya, or we call Sanatana Vidya, should get established in the hearts of all men and women, of all races, religions, caste, creed, geography, gender, doesn't matter. Because this is for all. There is no separate God in Sanatana Dharma. You are the God being discussed over here. All religions have their gods. In Sanatana Dharma, there is no God. You are the God. That's why it is about you, and so you are the most important person. This is the knowledge which has to be imparted now to all mankind, and all the modifications that are happening in our education, in our ashram, in the messages that are going out from here, and also the changes that are happening in the society and the world at large. It's all to make it conducive for the avatar to play out his role in the mission of spreading Sanatana Dharma. Soon world will be fed up with materialism, with these illusory promises of happiness in material objects, in relationships, in name, fame, position, power. People will be done with all that. A new world has to emerge. But for that, the old must go. Both can't exist together. If day has to dawn, night must go. Both cannot exist simultaneously. And therefore, because the new is arriving, the old must go. These are birth pangs of a new era, a new time in the history of mankind. And birth pangs are pangs after all. So let go of our old, let go of our past, let go of our dead habits. It will take some effort. Attachment will be painful. But those who have seen through the entire thing and they have set their eyes on the higher goal, for them letting go of this old is no big deal. But those who are still opening their eyes to this new truth, to this new dawn, letting go of their slumber is a little difficult thing. And therefore, this resistance in the world. But all that is happening is perfectly under the divine master plan. Everything is under the great divine design. It could not have been better than what it is. It can't be improved and made any further better than what it is. It is the way it is supposed to be. Take refuge in this fact. Take refuge in this thought that it is perfect the way it is. This is under a great divine design. We may not understand it with our puny minds. He cannot be understood by the mind or described in words. Therefore, this confusion. But let go of this mind, forget about your words, and just experience from the heart everything is perfect as it is. And this all is leading to a very new era, a new page in the chapter of human history, golden page. It's coming already, it has begun. So some pain will be there. Mahabharata war did happen, isn't it, to establish Dharma? You can say so many people were killed. Krishna could have avoided the war, somehow worked on the minds of the Kauravas and transformed them and avoided the whole war. Seemingly Krishna went and failed in his peace efforts. Krishna failed in maintaining peace, Lord of the universe. So let us not celebrate Krishnashtami. He failed then and there. Why should we talk? No, because we have seen through the personality of Krishna. So was the Mahabharata war necessary to establish Dharma? So many lakhs of people had to be killed on the battlefield. So many men and women had to lose their kith and kin. Yes, that is how Krishna had planned. So unless there are hard blows, we don't wake up from the slumber. Soft, cajoling words don't make us give up our deep ignorance, sleep of ignorance. Then a few big blows are required. That is when we wake up to this new reality. So a new era has begun, and those who have the sight to see, they will be able to see it. They can see the hand of God in everything. As Kenopanishad says, Pratibodha Viditam Matam. See God's plan, God's design in every experience of your life. The one who sees that, ya pashyati, sa pashyati. He alone sees. Otherwise it says, pashyanapi na pashyati mudaha. The fool cannot see even if it is right in front of his eyes. Because he has the eyes, but he does not have the vision. So the one who has the vision of what's coming clearly knows it is correct, it is appropriate, it is perfect the way it is. This is what will wake up humanity into a new era, a new world, a new dawn, where people will live with this idea that everything is God, they are God and everything is God, and that is the ultimate achievement of the Avatar's mission. For that sake only everything is going on. So be ready, be prepared, be surrendered in your mind, accept things as they come, and take refuge in this idea that everything is under the great divine master plan. We may not understand it, we may or may not be able to talk or describe it, doesn't matter. Just go with the flow and you will realize that how everything is perfect. So that is the Krishnashtami message, that instead of begging and beseeching God to solve our problem, remove this problem and save us from this, save us from that, enough. We've been doing that for a very, very long time. Now let us wake up to this truth that we are indestructible. We are eternal. We have no birth, no death, no middle. We were, are, and will be because we are Brahman. We are the divine and nothing less than that. And give up this childish attitude towards things, these unnecessary fears, anxieties, this shivering and shuddering all the time. Give up all this. This weak-mindedness should be given up. And wake up to this new reality, this ultimate reality, that you are divine. That is the time, that is the message of Krishnashtami. And you all should and must put efforts on this path to realize that you are Krishna. You are Krishna not as the body and the form and the name, but Krishna as that universal consciousness which is present in all, at all times, in all places. And realizing that only Ananda Prapti, Kushyati iti Krishna. That mission of Swami, Ahilamanavulaku Anandamunagurchi, Rakshinchuchuntute. This is how I will save the humanity. How? By giving them that ultimate knowledge of their existence, that you are God. You must realize it as you live, and with that become full of Ananda. So this is the ultimate reason why avatars come. This is the message of Krishnashtami to all the people who are watching from around the world. Know in your heart everything is perfect, and be happy as you are. Things could not have been better than what they already are. Thinking thus, rejoice. Let the life be not just a celebration on one day of one avatar's birthday. Every single day is a celebration because we are alive to this idea that we are divine, and therefore we must celebrate this idea. So lot of blessings to everybody around the world. Yes, at physical level you may be missing, I may be missing you, you may be missing me or coming here, but know in our heart of hearts we are one and the same. So therefore the earlier we realize that, the lesser these problems of missing and will happen. Therefore realize that in your heart, I'm always with you, not with you as you, I am there, because we are all one in that divine consciousness. May that consciousness guide our path. May all enjoy this truth in their lives and thereby be always delighted in this awareness. These are the Krishnashtami blessings to all the devotees, all the students, staff, and everyone else who is watching in the ashram and outside. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखमाप्नुयात्. Let everybody be happy. Let everybody be healthy. Let nobody see any sorrow anywhere. Let all see only good and auspicious which is everywhere. Let nobody have any misery, any sorrow. With this prayer to Lord Krishna, we end the program today.
Sairam, everyone. I remember, I think it was in 2015 or in 2016, Swami had given a discourse in Argentina, and he actually spoke about these special days, this special time we are going through right now. And he had said that what comes to one as annihilation will actually be only, or what this seems to be the destruction, will only be the beginning of a new era. Years ago, my mentor, when he was asked why the earth is so crowded today, why there is so much suffering today, why all this cruelty and all these tests and all these things were happening today, he answered by saying that, he said, you see, this is a special era. This is a special time. And all the beings in all the worlds, they know that when they come in this time, they will have their lessons, they will pass their class quicker than in a different time, if they would have came a different time. He said, this time is a special time. In this time, everyone will ascend more quickly. Everyone will pass their classes more quickly. So you see, we all, and when I say all, I don't just mean the humans, I mean all. The humans, the plants, the animals, the trees, the sky, the water, everything, we all, the particles, the littlest from the biggest, every one of us who are right now born to this world, we chose to came right here to this world for the purpose of finding our true selves, to finally to become one with our true nature. Everyone and anyone, seen or unseen, desires to be happy, desires to be peaceful, desires to be one and all with everything. But see, the little trick in this world that we live in is that this world operates with duality. We always have two sides of everything. And for ages we are taught that we are this body, that we are this name, that we are this identity. But we are not, right? This world operates on attachments, on habits, on conditionings, on desires, which actually, if one observes itself, are quite temporary. We want to be happy, so we desire things. In our mind, we say, if I get this, whether it be something material or whether it be a practice, whether it be a ritual, whether it be a thought, whether it be a mantra, it doesn't matter. A desire, whether it's spiritual or material, a desire is a desire after all, isn't it? And we hold on to it. We attach ourselves to it, and it attaches itself back to us actually, right? And the only way to be free, the only way to actually realize and find out who we are is if we become free, if we start to let go of things. You know, yesterday we had a discussion here and Evangelos put it so nicely. He spoke about children. Ask any children. Ask them, you know, do you know how to know what is right and wrong? They will all say yes. If you speak to them about the inner voice, they all know what it means. Adults are the ones who forgot this, right? So when we are born, actually, if you are with a baby, you will feel the connection. If you look to their eyes, you will see how full they are, how connected they are, you know? You will see how they operate. They operate quite different than the adults, right? And then little by little, they start to learn what is right and what is wrong. And this is like, imagine each time you're putting a cloth on, right? You put a t-shirt on, then you put another one on, then you learn more things. So you put on more stuff on yourself, right? But when you come to a point when you grow older, all these things that you start putting off, they start to weigh on you, right? They start to, you start to question why you have all these things, right? Now that is the time actually when you start waking up, because you realize all these things that you acquired and all these things that you have around you, everything is temporary. No matter what you do, you will never really find permanent happiness unless you really, really start to let go of them. And letting go doesn't mean you have to give up everything. You know, there is this beautiful documentary on Paramahamsa Yogananda, and he says, you know, a disciple goes to him, someone who just joins him, approaches him, and he says to him, I have a question. Does this mean that now that I have joined you, that I have to give up everything? That I have to live in a certain way and do this and do that? And, you know, he's afraid that he has to give up everything, right? So Paramahamsa Yogananda says, you don't have to give up anything. See, you will start to know yourself. You will start to be in contact with yourself. And if you persist there, if you stay there, if you continue to go within, or like our dearest Satguru says, if you withdraw and start looking within, and you know, let's say, he explained it the other way very nicely. You have, let's say, a picture, right? And we operate from a certain point. We are in the picture, but we operate from a certain point. You know, whatever happens in our life, right? We look at it from a certain point. What happens when you let go of that certain point? What happens when you let go of the attachment or the conditioning that this is the only way to look at the thing from this point? You step out of the picture and you look from across to the picture. What happens? You see the entire picture. See, nothing in life happens to us. It only happens for us. And the only way to let go, when you go within, when you withdraw, you go within, you stay as the observer, right? You will start getting the detox, which the entire world is getting right now, and be free of your attachments, be free of your conditionings. And then you see, you actually learn to trust and to surrender, right? The more you let go, the more you will surrender. The more you surrender, the more you let go of this identity. And the more you let go of the identity, you become one with one and all. Yesterday, Marasimha Murthy talked about science and unified field. You know what happens when you let go and you surrender? When you become one with everything, when you start to observe that everything you see, everything you hear, everything you experience is yourself. It is your own, actually. Nothing is a part, it is your own. And then you start to realize, just as they say in science, everything is interconnected. Swami gives a very nice explanation. He talks about a handkerchief that, he talks about the threads and how the threads, make the handkerchief, and how one by one you let go of the unwanted things, But you know what? Each and every single one of us is interwoven. We are one. We are the unified field. We are it. And the only thing that is going to take this world forward, the only thing that is going to bring light to this world, the only thing that is really going to give each and one of us happiness, peace, love, unity, is the knowledge of the self. There was an era in this world where all the beings, all the trees, all the animals, all the insects, they lived in unity. The sky, the water, the earth, everything lived in unity. So we are approaching to that time. And as Swami said, beautiful times are ahead. Beautiful, beautiful times are ahead. So this, whatever is happening, consider it as a detox, right? And to be able to have a nice detox, to be able to have a smooth detox, what is required is the knowledge of the self. So let's all withdraw. Let's all observe and go within, and let the one within operate without. Let your inside and your outside become one, become transparent, because that is actually what Swami also told us yesterday, didn't he? He said, unity within, unity without. So let us all be transparent. Sai Ram, do you have any questions?
May I share something that came to mind from what you said, Taya?
Of course.
When you were talking about the different layers of clothing, right?
Mm.
Many years ago, Swami had shared this with a devotee. Swami said, when a soul is born in the physical body, at that point in time itself, at birth, 30% of the psyche is already present. 30% of the character of the conditionings are already present from a past life. Yes. Then at around 5 or 6 years of age, you add another 30%. At maturity, you add another 30%. So that makes it 90. And for the rest of the life, Swami said, you have 10% to work with. And he said that that is the most important percentage for a human being, because all the rest, happens when you're a child. You bring it from your past lives, etc., etc. And that's what renders each individual unique. There are no two people who are the same. And so these different layers of clothing you were talking about reminded me of this. So I wanted to share.
You know, if we all would go back in time, if we would just close our eyes and go back in time, if we would remember our childhood, there is a sense of I, right? I'm doing this, I'm thinking, there is a sense of I. Then if we would remember when we were going to school, again, there is this sense of I. If we were to remember our teenage years, or our 20s, our 30s, if there are among us 60s, maybe 70s, there is still this sense of I, right? So what has changed? That feeling is still there. The body has changed, the circumstances have changed, but that sense within, that is still there. That sense of I, that is never changing. It's still there. That never changes, right? That is the beautiful thing about it. When you start to, actually it's so simple, and maybe it's because so simple it's so difficult sometimes, you know. It's actually quite a joke they played on us while putting this thing inside, haven't they? But you know, for years now, we are given all this knowledge, right? You know how it feels right now? It feels right now, up to this point, we were like babies, right? And we were learning to walk, right? And lately, what we are being put through actually is we are being told that, look, I gave you all the knowledge. You have everything you require to be able to walk and then actually to run if you want, right? So even in Master the Mind, Swami said, I put the ties so down, you can actually walk across, right? But what are we doing? Most of us are still doing, please, 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 I can't, don't let go of my hand. I need you, I want you, you know, you have to help with this and you have to help with that and you have to do this. Why? For years now, for actually 90 years that Swami has been, 96 years almost, that he has been here. He's been talking about the same thing. All the masters have been talking about the same thing. The nice thing about Swami is that he makes it so simple. Like little children can understand what he's saying, right? What is he doing right now? He's saying, look, I've been holding your hand and I've been teaching you actually how to make steps. I am letting go of your hand now, slowly and slowly. You can walk. He's giving us the courage. He's saying, you can do this. You can walk. March forward. Don't worry. I'm next to you. I'm not letting you go. It's not that I'm just leaving you here and, you know, going off somewhere else. He's like, no, I'm here. We are one. You can do this. You have the knowledge. I have given you everything, everything. You can do this, right? So we can do this.
Anybody present, please feel free if you have any questions to unmute your microphone, or if you have anything you want to share, please feel free.
Can I say something?
Of course,
Like,
of course.
I was thinking of the two last interventions of yours and Victory. Swami said recently, he said, Sanatana Dharma is based on reincarnation.
Excuse me, can you turn on your camera, please? We can't see you.
Yes. Okay. Swami said recently, Sanatana Dharma is based on reincarnation. Everything has a meaning only like that. When you explained that everything is there in us already, we just have to go to it and use it. And the percentage of psyche which is given to us when we take a new body. And Swami said exactly that. He said, Sanatana Dharma is based on reincarnation. You start again from where you stopped, which was not properly done yet. It's not, of course, it's only love. So Sanatana Dharma is only love. This I wanted to tell. We shouldn't suffer for that because we already that. We already are that. That's all.
And you know, last year I had asked a question to Swami. And the answer was so beautiful, actually, and actually so true. He said, the more you climb up the ladder, you will find yourself. He said, you climb up the ladder only to find yourself. Right? So all these, actually, you know, Sylvie, you said yesterday so nicely, you spoke about love and you spoke about expansion. Because what is love after all? It's expansion. It's accepting everything and anything as your own, right? And when you do that, what happens? You start seeing actually yourself in everything, right? They are you, and they respond. See, um, like you said yesterday with animals too, this is, I think, the best way to experience this, I feel, is through nature, because they are so pure. Whatever you have, they will actually reflect it back to you. You will actually see yourself in them. You will see that you are one with one and all. It's true expansion, it's true love.
Previously, I saw Prasanna, I believe, who had unmuted her mic. I think she wants to say something. Prasanna Lakshmi?
No, this is Balaji. That's my wife's iPad.
Hi, hi.
Okay.
Okay, hi, Balaji.
Sairam
Go ahead.
Balaji.
So, Sairam. Yeah. So, I know yeah, that is, we all have to get connected with the self. For that, completely the mind, we have to purify the mind, where we have to constantly engage in our sadhana to attain that state. What are the practices that every moment we need to follow in order to get connected with our own self at all times? Maybe some thoughts we can deliberate.
Yeah, see, we all do our sadhana, right? And it may vary from person to person. And some of us might be doing it for 5 minutes, some of us might be doing it for half an hour, some of us might be doing it for an hour. But the entire day itself is sadhana, right? What we do for half an hour is actually, I mean, I can only talk from my own experience. And I can only say that that is a tool for me to stay connected throughout the day. The mind is a very naughty child, I would say, right? It will always try to find a way to interfere. But the more you can make little games, for example, me, if you are asking me what I do, um, whatever comes to mind, there was a time I used to say, let go. You know, a thought comes, I say, let go. A habit comes, let go. Last year, I practiced this for quite some time. And there was this one day, and I keep sharing this with, our friends too. There was this one day I found myself while I was sitting and yelling at myself, enough, because there were so many things passing in my mind, right? Isn't this what Swami spoke about, at the start of Master the Mind as well, right? You observe, you see it. So what do you say? You say, let go. How do you let go? You would put something right next to you, right? If you're holding something in your hand, what do? You put it aside. You let go of it. So you let go. The more you let go, the more you actually uh, become present with yourself, right? Another thing I do, even in the busiest days, when I was walking on the street, to everything and anything I would see, I would say God. I would look at them as God. I would treat God. This computer is God. When you keep repeating that, you are actually letting go of your own identity. What happens is you become aware of more of the presence, which you actually are, right? But all the things that your mind or your habits that turn to actually disrupt you or distract you do not have as much as the power anymore to attach themselves to you, right? Don't they do that? Don't I feel upset once in a while? Of course I do. But the difference is, right? If I were to be upset on something for a day years ago, right now I either get upset for a very short period of time, or I catch it before and I go, I see what you're doing, yeah, it's not gonna work on me, Another thing I do is, ho'oponopono, Yeah, I don't know if you ever heard of that, It's, if you keep yourself constantly in a positive, if you fill yourself, let's say, with positivity, the darkness cannot stay where there is light. Again, it comes back to attachments. It will not find a way to hook itself to you, because some of these thoughts, that you have in your mind, they tend to come in and they tend to spread like a spider web, right? What you do with these sadhana and with these little practices, and each one of us is unique. It doesn't mean that my sadhana has to be exactly the same way as Victory's, as yours, or anyone else's, We each have to find with our own sadhana, with the way we're doing things, our own path. And we have to trust the process, that everything is, whether it's good or bad, is the best thing that is happening for me right now. My mentor used to say he had just come out of the intensive care. He had been gone through hell, and I asked him, how are you feeling? He said, whether it's good or bad, you have to always believe that whatever happens is only for my own good, And when he passed away, Swami said he redeemed him, and now he's with Swami. We have to trust that process, and it will take us there. Was it
Yes.
Absolutely.
anyone else? Or
I'd like to, Balaji, what I agree most with what Taya said. What resonated with me most was the fact that each one sadhana is unique to the person, right? Because the sadhana has to be tailor-made to each person's point in their own journey, right? As Swami said, the uh, the path is yours. Nobody else can take that path for you. You have to take it. Having said so, it's beautiful how God lives each story individually in this way, right?
Hello.
So God lives each path and each journey through each and every individual like this. And what struck me the most from what Taya said uh, was this uniqueness to each one sadhana, which reminded me of of excuse me, but when the audio came on, I got distracted from my thought. It reminded me of how Swami said, is the intention that matters. Is the intention that matters. If there is the purity of intention, he will adjust to your own sadhana to guide you, to help you, to take you by hand. And or as Taya said before, he has been doing that and he has made us strong enough to trust in that process. Thank you, Taya. Thank you. Anybody else?
Sairam, at the end, you said something about being transparent. Could you explain that?
being transparent is actually being in unity with word, thought, and deed. When you are true to yourself, when your words, see, looking good outside is one thing, doing things so that other people see you or appreciate you. This is not, you have to be honest to yourself. You have to be true to yourself. Inside, everything has to be united. You have to become friends first with yourself. You have to love first yourself. You have to, expand. It starts with you. It starts with whatever you have within you. And once you start to love yourself and trust yourself and become united within yourself, then actually if all your actually conflicts and doubts and everything starts to go away, no matter what. If you are if your words and your deeds and your thoughts, they are in unity, right? Or again, as my mentor always put it, he used to say, when a thought comes, pass it through the sieve of your heart, and if the two are in unity, then go ahead and do the things. Use your hands, right? If the two of them are not in unity, and if they are in conflict, don't do it, because there is no unity. Something is going to happen maybe there, right? So when word, thought, and deed are in unity, then everything which is outside becomes also united, because you actually are that, right? We are creators, right? Every single scripture in this world says that we are creators. So we constantly create, and with whatever we create, right, we create our own world too. But to be able to have peace and happiness and love and divinity, right, we have to become true to ourselves. And the only way to become true to ourselves is through transparency, is through unity within. Because when you reflect, this is a saying actually that comes in Turkey from Rumi. Rumi says your inside and your outside should be the same. There should be no difference with your inside, which means you're within yourself, and the outside. And that is transparency. Through transparency, your true self can reflect upon the world. Was this an answer? Was it okay? Yeah.
We
So
have,
Swami also
sorry,
tells.
Balaji, 1 second. We have 5 more minutes with this session, just so you know. Thank you.
Yeah. So Swami also constantly tells in his discourses to give up all the dead habits. What is the sadhana or effort which has to get involved to get rid of that?
The habits are conditionings, actually, aren't they? We condition ourselves to be in a certain way, to think in a certain way, to act in a certain way. What happens when you let go of your conditionings, right? It is painful. It is not easy, like Swami said. It is really painful. You're letting go everything you thought you knew was right, and you're opening yourself to new possibilities. And the only thing you can do at that moment is to stay true to your own self, is to actually, let your inside and your outside become one. Rejoice, love life, expand, right? There are a million possibilities. God gave us the ability to discriminate and to let go, right? To see what is right and wrong, right? You observe it, you look at it. Another way, is to say, would Swami would have acted this way, right? He would have done this way, right? Then if there is anything that is not fitting that profile, you can just say, let go. It's very simple, actually. You keep saying, let go, let go, the more you let go, the more you are able to actually flow in the river of life. You become one with life. And that's all what matters after all.
Thank you, Taya. We have here in the chat window, Sylvie has written, so once more, clarity of intention is the basis of sadhana. It's a question.
Yes, I think to be persistent and have, you don't let go of the goal. You stick to that, Actually, a very nice example comes to mind. It's when you want to dig a well, right? This is also Swami's example. If you choose yourself one spot, and if you stay in that spot, you are bound to find water, whether it's in 20 meters, whether it's in 100 meters, or whether it's in 1,000 meters, but you will find the water. But what happens, you start digging, a hole for a well, and you go, okay, I couldn't find it here. Let me go here. Let me go there. Oh, it's also not here. Let me go here and let me go there also. You get distracted, right? And you may or may not find water, but if you stick to the same thing, if you stay at that one, no matter what happens in life, we always have to remember it is never happening to us. It is always happening for us. And if we believe in that, if we stay true to that, and if we set our intention to that, we will definitely reach the point. It will definitely happen. All the help in all the universes, in everything is with us right now. God is with you. He is you. We are that. We are not separate, right? So if we stick to that, we will reach it. Saira.
Thank you, Taya. We have a sharing here in the chat window. The more you let go, the less you become, and the more of silence fills you. SAI lens fills you. I think everyone present who have been listening to you will agree with me when I thank you for your words. Taya, thank you so much. Sadly, we have to move on to the next session because we have two more sessions to go. If you're okay with this, Taya, we'll move on.
Yes, Saira. Thank you.
Thank you. We now have a projection, a short cultural interim, so to speak, in the program. Um, we have a girl from Ukraine. Her name is Ilona. She's an Odissi dancer from Kharkov in Ukraine. She began to study this style of dance, Indian dance, in 2014. She is a student of the world famous dancer of Odissi, Guru Sujata Mohapatra. Since 2015, Ilona has been participating in master classes led by her guru and has studied this style of dance in India. We will now watch her dance for about 10 minutes. Odissi is one of the classic Indian dance styles. It comes from the temples of the East Indian state of Orissa. It is a form of a spiritual dance. A wide variety of sculptural positions from temples can be seen in this dance. The ancient treatise Natya Shastra describes what positions the head, hands, fingers, legs can assume during the dance. It lists the main 9 emotions on which the dance is based. Each pose in such a dance carries a semantic load. Mangalacharana Ganesha Vandana, I think this is the title of the dance. This dance is the opening dance in the traditional Odissi program. In it, the dancer turns to God Jagannath to receive his blessings. Here, the performer also brings his obeisances to Mother Earth, teachers, musicians, spectators. Then the dancer prays to Lord Ganesha to remove all obstacles on the way. Thank you, Ilona. She's here with us today. Watching you dance, I remember when we met. For all of you present, last year I was blessed with being able to go to Ukraine to talk to the youth over there. And what has remained with me, and I think will always remain with me, was how no matter where you go to meet those who have met the avatar, that imprint of love is the same. So for me, it was a blessing to meet all of you in Ukraine, because I have come back with my heart full of Swami's love from that trip. The same was with England, the same was with Greece and the other places I was blessed to visit, thanks to Swami. Thank you again, Ilona. Thank you. We now have our next session with Kiran Tumma, an ex-student, one of Swami's ex-students. As Swami says, ex-students are not, you are not ex-students, you will always be my students, Swami said. And in a recent discourse with regard to, this being a student, Swami said, everyone is a student of life. Until the goal is reached, everyone is always and will always be a student of life. So Kiran will be leading the next session, which is entitled Yad Bhavam Tad Bhavati, which translate as you think, so you are. Roughly speaking, that's the meaning. Kiran will correct me if I'm wrong. Kiran, please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Victory. Sairam to everybody who are joined from various different countries. Sairam, what a session we had since yesterday. And today, as Victory said, and also based on the questions and what Swami was talking this morning as well, on how do we implement some of the teachings of Sanathana Dharma. Now, in our day-to-day life, they're all very abstract, what have been spoken in the morning as well as yesterday, right? So in this session, what we do is, let me just share my screen. So as Victory said, Yad Bhavam Tad Bhavati, which means it's not as you think, this is a very important part, but it is as you feel, so you become. So what we do in this session is we take a journey, right? We take a journey. And remember, Yad Bhavam Tad Bhavati is a very profound statement from the scriptures. And we see most of the time, Swami uses this statement in many of his discourses. And remember, the intention with which we start anything in life, be it a project, be it just a beginning of the day, is what we end up getting it ultimately. that is the result what we get. So the intention of the next 1 hour is let's take a journey with open minds and hearts to a new possibilities. So in this session together, we will learn the importance of Yad Bhavam Tad Bhavati by going in depth and relate this, how we can relate this in our day-to-day life and how to make use of this to achieve what we want in every sphere of our lives. Remember, this is an interactive session where we together learn some of the tips where we can actually implement in our daily life to achieve outer manifestation through inner transformation. So if you have any questions, either you can type it in the chat, so it will be clear to all what question you are asking, also because of audio quality, so everybody can hear. But if you cannot, you can always unmute and speak at any time whenever you have a question. Yeah. So yesterday, we have gone through the beautiful sessions of Sri Narasimhamurthy sir, and also the talk by Sri Sylvie Sarda, who is Victory's mother. And today, our master's message of Advaita, which is, we are God. This we have been hearing so often, we are God, right? So in this session, we actually see how we can make use of that. We get little practical as well in this session and learn how to implement these abstract things, what we learned. And with this, how can we change our focus, our beliefs and feelings by which we can manifest our dreams. Dreams can be anything. It can be spiritual progress, it can be materialistic, and also it can be anything. And by the end of the session, I hope to bring an awareness of how important are our thoughts and feelings, and how important is our attention and focus. They are very, very powerful. And also I hope that the things that what we learn here in this session in 1 hour will bring a change in our lives and make us develop as a good human being. So I would like to focus on what Swami said just a few minutes back. Be happy where we are, what we have, as it is a perfect plan and it cannot be any better than this. So in other words, to achieve this, we need to have acceptance and gratitude. Remember, these are like two foundations of Yad Bhavam Tad Bhavati. As you feel, so you become. To give a perspective, recently Swami narrated a very nice experience where in one of the countries, the organizers has arranged a tour to the entourage to a maze. So a maze is a path or collection of paths, typically from an entrance to a goal, like a puzzle, as you see in the picture. So you enter and then you have to figure out your way to the destination. When we are inside, we don't know where to go. We can try only by trial and error. And after many, many attempts, we may be successful in reaching our goal. But imagine when you are standing above that, like a bridge, where you can see from a bird's eye view, we can easily see which route to take and how to reach the goal easy and quick. This is like, this is like a zooming out to get a bird's eye view, which gives us a clear path to reach the destination faster. So this session attempts to give all of us a bird's eye view of Yad Bhavam Tad Bhavati. Let's start with what Swami said in Vidya Vahini, chapter 14. You can also see on the screen. He says, one who condemns oneself day and night as petty and weak can never accomplish anything. One who thinks that one is unlucky and low thereby becomes unlucky. Instead, when you cultivate the awareness that you are a spark of God, that you have as your reality, divinity itself, you can become really divine, and you can have command over all powers. As you feel, so you become. It is how you feel that matters the most. So that is the profound statement. It is how you feel that matters the most. So in this session, we will mainly explore on this particular sentence. It is how you feel that matters the most, right? In 2016, let me just take two questions what Swami answered. In 2016, when Swami visited Netherlands, right? After the discourse, during the question and answer session, one boy asked an interesting question. He says, "Dear Swami, how did all really start? The whole universe and everything." And then Swami said, in the beginning, I mean, he was a boy, I think he's about 10 to 12 years old. So he has given an answer where the boy can easily understand. So in the beginning, there was only one boy. He was bored. He did not have anything to play with. He had no brothers, no sisters, and no friends to spend his time with. So he thought, why not have some people around me so that I can play and be happy? Therefore, the boy willed and made many more boys and girls, friends and brothers and sisters appear so that they could love each other, play with each other, serve each other, and be happy. The same way, God was there. He has no beginning and no end, but He alone was there, and there was no one around Him. He wanted the company of people of His kind, so He decided to create this whole universe, a playground with all the beings as His playmates. Then, with one thought of this, like how yesterday Sri Narasimhamurthy sir said, with the big bang, with the thought, everything started happening. God is all powerful. He can do anything. Therefore, He created this entire universe, all the beings, all the creatures in His image. That is how the whole creation happened. And there was another question. Swamiji, you have said that you always have been there with us through many lifetimes, loving us exactly as you love us in this life. Then why do we forget your love? When we return again into this world, what can we do to not to forget in the next life? So Swami's answer was, I always say life is a game, play it. Games involve certain rules. If you wish to play football, is it possible to say that there should not be any opposing team? That nobody should oppose you, that you should be given freedom to go to the other side without obstruction? Then there is no game. Likewise, in the game of life as well, there are certain rules. And one of the rule is that you don't remember your past. That is one of the rules. So life is a game, play it. As always in games, we have some tips to play the game. And one of the tips to easily pass is yad bhavam tad bhavati. That is one of the tips to easily play and enjoy the game. Yeah. We are divine beings, as Swami also said in the speech earlier. We are divine beings, came down to earth for human experience. You must often think that as gods up there, we all have this knowledge. And why would we even choose to come down to earth? And that is because this earth is a school. We primarily do that because this knowledge, what we have up there, has to be refined as wisdom. And what is the difference between the knowledge and wisdom? Knowledge is theoretical. It is like when we read about driving a car. Can we drive a car? We need to sit in the car and drive, and then only we get the experience of driving the car. So when we convert the knowledge into experience, we gain the wisdom. That is the reason we come down to earth, to convert that knowledge into wisdom. And this happens through the body. And where can we do that? Earth. So this is a school. And here in the school, the universe will provide all the tools that is needed for us, like in a lab technician giving all the required equipment for us to finish the experiment in the lab. So we are divine and we forget it. This is one of the rules. And we came to experience it, right? So this is the way the game is being played. So imagine your childhood being in the lab. to do some experiments. You ask the technician for the required equipment. So you learn the language which the technician can understand. So he can give you the equipment. So how do you ask the technician? So if you are in, let's say in France, generally they speak French. So you go and ask the person the language what he speaks so he can understand. So he can give you what you want. But remember, he will give you whatever you ask because he's there to provide that. That is his job. That is his duty. He will give you what you ask, but only you have to ask in the language what he understands. So similarly, the universe is the technician. He knows what you need, as you have indicated before you came down to earth. But if you need more, then what do? You need to ask. Yesterday, Narasimhamurthy sir also said, ask, it shall be given. Right? In most of the scriptures, you see this. But there is a problem here. Have we ever thought in what language we need to ask? What language does the universe understand? The laws of the universe by which all things come to you responds to blocks of thought and the corresponding feeling, but does not understand English, Telugu, French, Italian. No, it understands only the feeling. Whether you say I want or I intend or I know, it is the way that you feel that is being acted upon. And that is what Swami is saying. The feeling is the most important. The language of feeling are only the bhavam. The feeling is the language. That is why we hear in scriptures glorifying the God. God is bhavapriya. So as you say, I want, but you are feeling otherwise, then you are getting the result of the predominant feeling. If you see many scriptures say, and also we heard Narasimhamurthy sir say yesterday in his wonderful talk, ask and it shall be given. So why are we not able to manifest what we want and not getting what we want? It's very simple. We are asking the wrong way. Yes, we are asking the wrong questions. We are asking the wrong way. We have been asking, like going to a restaurant in France or in Italy, which they only understand Italian or French, which the waiter knows, but you speak Russian or Telugu, how wouldn't he would not understand, right? Same way, to get what you want, you need to speak the language, and the language of the universe is the feeling. As you feel, so you get. So we also heard yesterday, Narasimhamurthy sir telling about the scientific world is doing and how it is related to metaphysics. So 400 or 500 years back, before Newton discovered the gravity is a metaphysics because the science could not understand nor measure. The moment the apple fell on his head, all of a sudden we can measure it. We have a theory. Metaphysics becomes physics. Similarly, we are living in this 21st century, right? And we believe only when it is proven scientifically because we are conditioned that way. So let me play a video where there was an experiment done exactly proving this point. As you feel, so you get. So let me play the video. I hope you can see this. Yeah.
So then think of when you open your heart, this is science, like dropping a pebble in water. You produce a ripple. If you drop a bigger stone, you produce a bigger ripple. If you're able to sustain that state, you keep dropping the same rock over and over again, and you broadcast a signature into the field. The emotion is the magnetic charge. Your intention, your thought, is the information that's carried on that wave. And when you combine a clear intention with an elevated emotion, you begin to produce an effect on matter. They did an experiment. They took a group of people that were expert prayers and healers. And they took 3 vials of DNA and they set them in front of them. And they said to these people, we want you with your mind, with your intention, to see this DNA wind or unwind. And keep doing it over and over again with your mind. Close their eyes, just visualizing it, winding and unwinding, winding and unwinding. At the end of the experiment, they checked the DNA. Guess what happened? Nada. Nunca. Nothing. Nunca. Nothing changed. So then they said to these people, okay, now open your heart and feel gratitude, loving kindness. Create a feeling of goodwill and just generate this feeling into the field. And we want to see if it changes the DNA. Over and over again, they kept creating this loving feeling. Check the DNA. Niente. Nothing. The elevated emotion did nothing to change the DNA. It had no effect on matter. But when they said to those people, we want you to see the DNA unwinding in your mind, that's intention. Intention is getting clear on what you want. And we want you to give thanks ahead of the actual experience, as if the DNA unwound. 25% of the DNA unwound at a remote location. You see, the thoughts that you think are the electrical charge in the quantum field. The feelings that you emote are the magnetic charge in the quantum field. And how you think and how you feel broadcasts an electromagnetic signature that influences every single atom in your life. The thought sends the signal out, and the feeling draws the event back. So if you're walking around your life feeling sorry for yourself and feeling like a victim, you are broadcasting that signature into the field. And you will create more experiences to suffer, because we are not punished for our sins. We are punished by our sins. And sin is an attitude. And sin is how you think and how you feel. So then when you cause people to give up their guilt and their shame and their unworthiness and teach them how to open their heart and create coherent waves in their brain and in their heart, they are going to produce the miraculous.
So, if the brain expects that a treatment will work, so what happens? It sends healing chemicals into the bloodstream, which facilitates that. That's why the placebo effect is so powerful for every type of healing. You know, we all have known the placebo effect, right? And the opposite is equally true and equally powerful. And what is that? When the brain expects that a therapy will not work, it doesn't. It's called the nocebo effect. How we get a placebo effect, a positive result, you also get a nocebo effect with no result. As soon as you start to tell yourself in your perception that you can't do, then your body consists of cells, will adjust itself to prove that you are right. And you will not do what you think you cannot do. So same thing goes in opposite as well. So one more scientific evidence let me give, and then we'll go into some practical aspects of it. So there was a person by Wolfgang von Goethe. He had written some books, and he says if you treat an individual as he is, he will remain as he is. But if you treat him, if we were as he thought to be and could be, he will become what he ought to be and could be. So a team of researchers, so they wanted to prove this statement, right? So a team of researchers went to a school. They made the students take a test and identified some students who were outstanding. So the teachers were then told that these students, set of students, were outstanding. So the teachers treated these students, because they don't know what was the experiment, they just believed. So they started treating these students as outstanding. Eventually, those students went to score very high marks and excel in all fields. The catch here is that these students were not any different from other students. The researchers had randomly selected some students and had merely told the teachers that they were outstanding. That really proves the statement by Goethe. So this is very, very, very important how we are bringing up children as well. What we say will go into their subconscious mind. So if we say positive words, they will become positive. And if we say no, no, then it will become that way. So you are vibrational transmitter and you are broadcasting your signal or sending out your signal in every moment of your existence. Every thought vibrates and every thought radiates a signal. When you put the feeling with the thought, it starts to attract the situations, people, which matches the vibrational signal. What this means from a practical standpoint is that we always attract into our lives whatever we think about the most, believe in most strongly, expect on the deepest levels. When we, so keeping this in the perspective and also from the video, when we say, we keep asking, we keep hearing this most of the time, Swami, I want peace. So we all know what Swami says. The answer of Swami is remove that I, remove that want, and you have peace. So what is the meaning here? You ask when you lack something. And when you lack, you express the feeling of that lackingness. So when you ask with this feeling of lacking, the universe will always say, Tadastu, so be it. So what do we get? You get the situations, circumstances where we keep wanting peace. You attract situations where you keep praying, I want peace. As you feel, so you get. But instead, what we should have prayed for, as demonstrated in the scientific experiments, is the feeling you should have when you already have gotten the peace, which means you need to express the feeling that you already got it. Oh, I have peace. So thank you, Swami. I express my gratitude for getting the peace, for giving the peace. By visualizing the situation, you will be in after getting what you desired for. That is the result of the scientific experiment and what Swami has been saying in his discourses. Remember, as Swami says, we are gods, but we are unconscious gods. But nevertheless, we are gods and we get what we want. So God gets what he wants. That's why he is God. So we are co-creators in this universe. We are co-creators. We can create what we want, but with certain rules. So how can we get that feeling of that we already got it? So of course the mind comes in between. That is very, very important. You need to have your thought, word, and deed in unison, right? We heard this yesterday many times, even today, that we need to have unity in thought, word, and deed. And that comes from conditioning of our mind. So the feeling is totally governed by our beliefs. And these beliefs are formed when we were small, maybe from 2 years to 8 years. How did these beliefs are formed? By social, by economical, by educational, and by religion, upbringing. So based on these things, we make our belief system. Let me spend some time on the mind so that the next short session will help us in shifting our focus and changing our beliefs. So if you see in my screen here, the mind is made up of conscious mind and the subconscious mind. So in the conscious mind, you see, is only 10%. You can imagine this as a computer RAM, right? RAM is always small, if you remember in the computer. But the subconscious mind is 90%. You can imagine this as your hard disk. So whatever is there in the hard disk is just dormant, it's there. It doesn't decide, it doesn't do anything. It is just literal. Whatever you do or say, it does. it doesn't analyze, it doesn't have analytical thinking. But only the conscious mind has all those things. Because if you want to bring a program, what do you do in the computer? You bring it onto the RAM and then you execute, because the RAM has it uses the processor to get all the things done, right? But what is the most important thing is the critical filter. The belief systems are formed. So whatever happens is going through this critical filter. And this critical filter is the responsible how we react, right? So between age and 2, this critical filter is generally formed between age 2 to 8 years. So that is belief system, values, principles, morals, ethics. So these are all the things which are formed in that. So most of the time, what does it say about it? So 90% of our time, we are acting upon from what is there in your subconscious mind, which you don't remember, right? So, but then that is very, very powerful. What is there in your subconscious mind? Sometimes we act in a different way because that is, as Swami says, vasanas. They're all there in your subconscious mind. And but if somehow you change the beliefs what are there, then the miracles start happening. The manifestation starts happening. So how do we do this? In the past, many of us have used our power of creative visualization in a relatively unconscious way. We keep creating because we don't know. We are unconscious. We don't know what has been there before, what was there before, right? So because of our own deep-seated negative concepts about life, we have automatically and unconsciously expected and imagined lack, limitation, difficulties, and problems to be our lot in life to one degree or another. That is what we have created for ourselves. So we have been creating unconsciously things on this earth. So how to stop creating the lack, suffering, negative things? We have to change our belief system consciously. And here, I'll just give a small kind of an exercise, how to change this belief system in a day-to-day life. So what is most important here is our attention to be present here and now. That is one of the most important things. Where your attention goes, things you are putting your consciousness, your energy into it. Your consciousness needs to be present here and now, which means what? If you talk about in the computer language, if you talk about in the computer language, keep your RAM clean of any other programs running, but keep only one, only that thought. So that is one important thing. So let me give an example. So let's take 20 seconds, right? Wherever you are, just take 20 seconds and then look around. You don't have to get up, just look around. I will ask you a question, right? I will ask you a question and then just take only few seconds, 2-3 seconds. Whatever comes to your mind, you should answer that, right? So this question is very, very important because I want to know how many times or how many maximum number you can get. That is very important, okay? So look around, just count the number of objects which are having red color. So wherever you are, just look around and count the number of objects which are red in color. Okay, let's take 20 seconds. Okay, 5 more seconds. Remember, the maximum number, the better it is. So when I ask you the question, be ready with the answer. So my question here is, tell me how many objects did you find with purple color? Most of you must have got the answer close to 0, right? Why? Because our attention was totally focused on looking for objects with red color. Even though the purple is present in some of the objects, our attention did not go there. So you did not notice that. This is very important. Where our consciousness goes, it amplifies. Where our attention goes, it amplifies. As you saw in the video, the scientific experiments, the more you focus on the lack, the more it manifests. The more we focus on the feeling of we don't have this, we are sad, the more it focuses. The universe will always say, always Swami also says, Tadastu. Whatever you ask, Tadastu. Because you are God, you get what you want, right? So if we focus on the lack, on the disabilities, on all of these things, you're putting energy, your consciousness into that. And that is what you get. As you feel, that's what you get. And that's what Swami is trying to say with Yad Bhavam Tad Bhavati. Remember, you become master of your life when you learn how to control where your attention goes. So value what you give your energy and time to, right? So that is the attention. Attention is the absolute important. And then in the example number 2, how to change our beliefs. So here is a statement for you. Okay, this is another exercise. I would like to know if you agree or disagree to that statement. Okay, do not analyze with your conscious mind. As soon as the statement is given to you, first thought, what comes to your mind, and that thought comes always from your subconscious mind. The moment you give little time, the conscious mind will start to manipulate. You give reasoning, it's an analytical mind, it's a rational mind. It keeps analyzing a lot of things. Don't give that opportunity now. First thought, what comes, that's what you get. If you leave some time, then your conscious mind, with logical power will manipulate. So just remember the answer the moment you get without analysis. So the statement is this. In life, we have to work really hard, and then only we get more money. So I'm repeating the question. In life, we have to work really hard, and then only we get more money. So if your answer is yes, I agree, and that is your belief system. So with that belief, which is in your subconscious mind, what happens? The money will come to you only when you work really hard. Why? Because that is what is manifesting. That is the belief system what you have. If you think that money is very easy, it just comes to me, I'm a magnet of money. If that is your belief system, it just keeps flowing. So you have to be aware of what is in your belief system. I'm just giving the example of money because everybody can easily relate to money, right? So in this particular thing that we have to work really hard, then only we get money. If the answer is yes, I agree, then money will not come if you don't work really hard. Because that is the belief system what we have formed. So we have to break that belief system. The belief system is responsible for what is manifesting. So to have that unison of thought, word, and deed, we have to change this belief system. Same goes with spirituality. If we think that we have to do really, really hard to get spiritual growth or meditation, then that's what, only if you do that, you will get it. If you think, okay, it's very easy, that's what happens. So the attention to what you give and the thought what you have, the feeling what you have, you can start manifesting anything in life. Pay attention to that. So what we need here is change the focus, change your beliefs to get our manifestation with this inner transformation. Now remember the maze. If we take the bird's view, we are where we are. because we have asked for this. Remember, we come down to earth for human experience. Up there, we have already wanted to know what experience in this lifetime we would like to have. Like, for example, if we are chosen before coming, right? I would like to experience peace. So, what do you get? If I want to learn a car driving in a very rough road, I want to become perfect. The driving master will obviously take you onto the rough road. That's where you become perfect. If you want to learn the balance, you will go into the place where it is very slippery. Then only you will get the balance. If you want the experience you want is peace, obviously you will be surrounded by the situations where you don't have peace so that you can develop that peace. And that is what is meant, Swami meant by wherever we are the perfect. It can never become better than this because we have come for experiencing this. We are divine beings came down to human experience. We are trying to experience this. And what the tools are provided is just to get that experience. So it can never be better than this. So what we need to do, we have to graciously accept with love and gratitude. What we do when we ask something and somebody gives us, we accept with grace, we accept with love, with a full feeling of joy. You know what kind of joy we need to give? Like somebody gives you a gift of a brand new BMW car. And the feeling what you get, that expression of gratitude, and that gratitude is the most important. And that will change. It will have a shift in our vibration. So we are gods. We get what we want. So where is the question of complaining? We don't have it. Where is the question of sadness? Because we get what we want. It's just that we don't know how to do it. Now, with this awareness of acceptance, easy to achieve. With this awareness makes acceptance easy to achieve, right? So when we have this acceptance and with gratitude, we are in tune with the laws of the universe. When we have this acceptance, we do not resist and make ourselves toxic. When you have this acceptance, we express joy, which is our true nature. Acceptance is the way to express our gratitude to the universe for providing what we have been asking in its language. If we are not asking the right thing, it is not anyone's mistake but ours. So we have to accept. When we have this acceptance, we start to reach the state of being equanimous. What Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita as a prerequisite of being considered as a devotee. As you feel that everything comes easy without any preconditions, things start to manifest. The words what we speak, the thoughts we focus on and spend a lot of time is what you're unconsciously manifesting. So focus on your attention. So we do a short exercise how to change these beliefs. So what we need to do is we need to remove the disempowering beliefs into empowering beliefs. This is a short exercise. So what you believe creates emotions and it accelerates its manifestation. So what are disempowering beliefs? Beliefs that make you feel nervous, hopeless, negative, distrusting, hating, doubting, incapable, unworthy, right? And what are the empowering beliefs? These are beliefs that make you confident, hopeful, positive, trusting, loving, achieving. So an empowering belief that you constantly tell yourself as kind of a self-talk is called an affirmation. You are firming up the positive beliefs. So in this short thing, what I would like to say is how we frame and unconsciously manifesting that. For example, let's say I'm fat. So what is the feeling what I get? It's a disempowering belief. I am becoming fat, right? So where you put your attention, that is what is manifesting. And adding to that, the belief system, yes, I am becoming fat. And that is what is manifesting. So now, how to convert that into an empowering belief? I am getting healthier and healthier. So focus on doing this from the disempowering belief to empowering belief. Second example, I have so many loans to repay and I'm finding it very difficult. I am now becoming prosperous, having abundance of resources to fulfill my desires. That is the empowering belief. So, what we are doing here in converting, unconsciously, we have been having these thoughts, right, of disempowering belief. That's what we have been conditioned. Now that stops. Now we are going into empowering those beliefs. As the experiment, what has been done, where the DNA wanding and unwinding happens, when we, with the intention and the feeling, we can start to manifest. So what is the intention? Is the intention of the clear desire what you have. For example, you want to become ideal weight, right? So that is the intention. And the thing is, you are already gotten that. So how do you say, I am getting healthier and healthier? Express the gratitude, right? So similar way, I have so many loans to repay. So how do we convert? I am now becoming prosperous. So the most important thing is now and here. I am now becoming prosperous, having abundance of resources. So like, for example, for the students you have, I'm unable to get an idea to complete this project on time. So that is a disempowering belief. And how can we convert that? I now have the right idea and people, and I have completed this project to my heart's satisfaction. I'll tell you why this Swami also, if you remember correctly, in the first October Navaratri festival in 2012 or 20, I remember 2012 or 2013. You know, in Mudanahalli, there was not much of infrastructure yet, right? And then there was a Navaratri Homa to be performed. So Swami already announced Navaratri Homa we are going to have. So just before the Homa and everything started, just before, the main pujari was in the intensive care. And then the pandal, you know, they have to make a makeshift pandal for performing this, was not ready. Nothing was ready just 2 days before. Then the organizers went and informed me, I don't think it's possible. I think we may have to postpone or we may have to cancel this event. You know what Swami said? I already see the Purnahuti being offered. I already see that. I already see that happening. Don't worry, everything will be all right. So what is happening here? The intention of performing that with a feeling that it has already happened and manifested. And immediately the person who in the ICU came back, became all right. So when we have this feeling, the rest of the body, the cells, the universe, everything will act to match that frequency. And that is the secret. That is the power of Yadbhavam Tadbhavati. So the important thing here is the way we tell our story, and that is how it manifests. So the better way to get these empowering beliefs to be more strong is when we are in a meditative state. That's when you go into your alpha state. Alpha state is you make your conscious mind subdue and slowly enter your subconscious mind. When you are in a meditative state, you are in this alpha state. And what you say goes into your subconscious mind faster. So these empowering beliefs are mainly the affirmations, right? So the steps can be like this. You relax and get to the alpha state from your in the meditation. Imagine the goal in completion. Make it an enjoyable experience and natural. Keeping image still in mind, make a positive affirmation. For example, if it is weight, yeah, I'm getting healthier and healthier. If you want financial abundance, yeah, I'm financially abundant now. If you want a spiritual progress, I'm getting better and better in my spiritual progress. So these are the positive things. So that's when the non-analytical subconscious mind will make a print. It's like a tape recorder. It goes into the tape recorder like a program. It keeps running. So some of the affirmations are every day in every way, I'm getting better and better. I'm now progressing very well in my spiritual sadhana. Grace flows easily to me. So if you want to know more about these kind of things, we also heard something in the beginning from Oponopono. These are all the tools or things which have been proven scientifically of having very, very effective. So I can recommend Shakti Gawain, Creative Visualization, some of the videos of Joe Dispenza and Abraham Hicks talks on YouTube and quotes. So to summarize what we learned here is that the intention with the feeling that you already have it makes things manifest. It can be anything. So this is a very easy and practical way of making things work for us. So with this, I would like to thank you and for your patient listening, and we'll open for any questions. If you want to say something or ask any questions, please do so.
Thank you, Kiran, for this wonderful session of uniting the subtle bodies with the physical. I'd like to read out what Arun Balav has written over here in the chat window. He says, I want peace, remove the I, the ego, remove want, all desires, and you are at peace because the external world no longer affects you. Rather than changing the world outside, we change ourselves and get the bird's eye view of the world. We are no longer desiring anything for ourselves. Apologies to Karthik, but while I was reading, there was some disturbance. Please go ahead. We can't hear you. You'll have to unmute, please.
Looks like by mistake. Yeah.
I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, because 2 or 3 times it happened. So I thought maybe.
May I speak?
Yes, please, Taya. Please go ahead.
Sorry. As you were talking, I remembered something. Years ago, I had heard about about an experiment on DNA, about the HeartMath Institute, and Greg Braden talks about this. They took 2 sets of DNAs. They put one DNA, they, inframed the DNA. They took a bunch of people and told them to send intention to this DNA about hatred and all kinds of negativities and jealousy, and conditioning, feelings that, are not that positive, let's so to say. Then they looked to the DNA, what had happened. And they saw that the DNA had cramped itself. Like what Swami says, contraction. It cramped itself, right? Then they took another set of DNA again. Again, they put it, in a frame. And then they asked people to send love, compassion, peace, harmony to it with that intention. Then when they opened up the DNA to look what happened, they saw that it had expanded, So you spoke also about healing. So this is actually a perfect way of showing, because what is disease? It's the loss of ease, isn't it? And how does it happen? It happens through our mind, doesn't it? It happens through our intentions, like you said. And Joe Dispenza, for example, he speaks so nicely about habits. He says the way you act during the day, the way you believe, the way you feel creates a special neurocircuit in your brain. And when you actually decide to let go of that, which is, like Swami also says it's like birth pangs. It's difficult, isn't it? Then you start creating new patterns, and that's actually what will take you forward. And that's actually, you are creating actually something really, really beautiful. So I have to thank you. You really, really explained this beautifully. Saira.
Thank you. Thank you.
We have Martha, she has written over here. It is similar to American Indians that dance their rainy dance, jumping into puddles, feeling that there is water. In the sense that when they dance, they actually imagine and try to envisage the rain already present, right?
You also know about the Kirlian photography, the person, the Russian scientist who takes the pictures of the aura, which is present around us. Everybody has an aura, right? And then he has taken the picture of Swami, and he has found that his aura is actually going beyond what we can even imagine, right? And then if you remember the beautiful experiments done by Japanese scientist Emoto, he takes the pictures of the water crystals. So what happens there, if you imagine, you can also check it in the YouTube or in the internet. If you imagine love, the crystal was so beautifully formed with a beautiful design. But if you have the same thing with a different feeling, with a hatred, then you see very bad design of the same crystal. So you can imagine when we are drinking water, we are made up of 70% of the water. Our body is made up of 70% of water. And what change it can bring if we, with an intention, when you are drinking water, let's say it's one of the 5 elements, right? So if we say with a lot of gratitude, with an intention that, oh, water, go inside and give me nourishment, remove all the unwanted fat, and give me a healthy weight. If you keep doing over and over, that also has an effect. Simple water can have an effect. And the same thing goes with everything, all the objects around us. As Swami says, it's all part of the divine creation.
And so specifically in terms of Yad Bhavam Tad Bhavati, right? So here, what drives our feelings? That the thoughts are the ones drives our feelings, right?
Yes.
The thoughts.
So it all starts with the thought. Thought is like just a potential energy. It doesn't have anything. It has energy, but unless you make it into an emotion, that's why emotion, your energy in motion, that potential energy, you with the feeling, you make it into motion, right? So we feel, because this is something very completely new, and it feels very huge. Oh, I've never heard about these things, but actually, if you start practicing this, it becomes so easy. It's like, when you go to build up your you have a very thin arms and you want to really build up a muscle like a bodybuilder. What you do, you have complete faith. The only way to do that is go to a gym, keep lifting weights over and over again. Because you have faith, that is the only way. And when you do it, you will develop that muscle. And same thing happens over here. These things which you pay constant attention, and this is also a very important thing. The way to increase your willpower is pay attention to the unconsciously things what you do. You keep paying attention on the unconscious things what you do. Like for example, when you drive the car, you don't pay attention that the leg goes onto the pedal, and then you start driving, and then you put the indicator. These are all unconscious things. When you start paying attention, just giving this one simple example, your willpower starts to increase, and then that muscle starts building up. And that is the secret of the Yad Bhavam Tad Bhavati. You pay attention with the feeling, you start manifesting.
We have Jacques over here who would like to speak. Jacques, please go ahead.
Kiran, I'm a bit puzzled about the line between my thoughts and my feelings. You know, the universe reacts on our true feelings. And then we know that there has to be unity in our thoughts, our words, and our deeds, our actions. So I would more tend to replace thoughts by unity of feeling, words, and actions. How do you see this?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Jax. So the feeling comes from thought.
Okay.
Now you cannot just let it feel. If you remember the experiment, what was done, first what happened is only thought, no feeling, no change on the DNA. And the next experiment, just only keep feeling gratitude, love, no intention. Nothing happened to the DNA. But when you combine both of them, that in a feeling that it has already happened and you start feeling good about it, that's when the DNA started to change. Right? So whatever you want, so it all starts with a basic step. For example, I want to get a proper meditation every day, let's for 10 minutes. Let's take a very simple example. I mean, if you directly go into, I want to get Atma Jnana, it is possible, but there are many layers to get there, right? So it's like, when you are just to start to build up your muscle, and all of a sudden you want to say, I want to lift 100 kilograms, it's not possible because your muscles are not yet made up to lift such a heavy weight. Same thing is with our thoughts. The ultimate thing is to get Atma Jnana, no doubt. But that's something very huge, which our mind is capable of taking it, right? So that's the reason why we have to start from the lower side. So let's say, for example, this 10 minutes meditation, I want to get it. So what you have to get the feeling, that is the intention. I want to get a very nice meditation for 10 minutes. That is the intention. And then in your feeling is, oh, how wonderful it is that you already achieved what would be the state when you have achieved a perfect meditation for 10 minutes. Visualize that. And then keep visualizing that. And then what is the gap? Whatever is the vibration which is not there will start changing to match the vibration of your visualization. And that is an outer manifestation. And the same example goes with everything, not only for the meditation. It could be, I want a dream car, or I want it can be any materialistic, it can be any spiritual. Because there's nobody to give, there's nobody to ask. You are God, you get what you want. We think that, okay, the universe is providing or the God is providing, but you are God. Only thing is, you have to have where the universe can understand the language, and it can understand only the language of feeling with intention.
Okay. Thank you, Kiran.
So also to find out what drives our thoughts. When Swami came to California, we were asking about the question to him, what drives our thoughts? So we were asking the question like, how do we control our anger to Swami? And Swami was answering, immediately Swami was asking back, where does anger come from? Then we replied saying, anger comes from desires. And where does desires come from? Desires come from attachments. And then immediately we were asking Swami, where does attachment come from? And Swami was saying, if you are in one place, a beautiful car is going on one side, all those are stored as a thoughts in your mind. And also the thoughts come from the company of people you mingle with. That was the answer Swami was giving. So it's important what we see goes as a thoughts in our self, as well as the main thing is the company of people with whom we mingle. That was the answer Swami gave in terms of how thoughts come to us.
Thank you, Balaji. So this satsangatva is very, very important. That's one of the prerequisites to get positive thoughts. So satsanga with a good company is absolutely important in this case.
Sairam, I have a question.
Ram Janvi.
Hi, Sairam. Just because you mentioned about I am fat and the thoughts about how you should change that statement and say I am healthy. But what about the consequence it has, right? Because if you say I'm thin all the time and you keep thinking that, eating cookies and all is still going to give you that consequence, right? You are still going to become fat no matter how much you think about it. But if you think about the reality, maybe then it becomes a motivating factor actually for you to do something right about it. If you say that you have a lot of debt and you are about it and it is in your conscious mind, then don't you think that then we as humans, then we try to see how do I get out of that debt? Or okay, if I say I'm fat, everybody's thinking I'm fat now, so I need to do something to become thin, right? Rather than just saying I'm thin, but keep eating and then it's not going to work, right? So how do we balance that?
I would say very intelligent question.
I'm putting on weight and I'm eating a lot of cookies, so
very intelligent question. So the thing is, the reason why I said it's very intelligent question is the conscious mind analyzes very, very well, because that is what it is made up of. So when you actually visualize that you have already achieved, but don't say thin, the words matter the most. Don't say thin. Thin, see, the subconscious mind is very literal. It doesn't analyze, right? So that's why I was using the word healthier. So what happens, you are saying when you I visualized I'm getting a very healthy body, okay, but I keep eating cookies. So where is the balance coming? The secret here, or the magic here, is the vibration shift to match your strong believed visualization. And that vibration will automatically makes you eat less sweets or less cookies. It automatically happens. You don't have to do anything. It automatically, your subconscious mind, your mind will not make it happen if your visualization is very strong. Same thing with the debts. You don't have, if you think in your, say, for example, you say you are not a scientist or you are not even into science. And when you think, oh, I'm going to win Nobel Prize in medicine, your subconscious mind already knows it is impossible. But your conscious mind starts thinking, oh, Kiran said, if you visualize, it can happen. Right? But your subconscious mind saying, no, that is not possible. So there is a mismatch between what you're thinking, what you're trying to achieve, and what your subconscious, deep down subconscious beliefs are. So how do we match them? Right? So that is the reason when we are saying the subconscious mind should also start to believe. And that is one of the easiest way to do that is every day, in every way, I'm getting better and better. So then the tape recorder, like the subconscious mind is like a tape recorder, it keeps running a program. And if you keep doing that, the program slowly is changing. So I'm getting better and better. It believes it. And then what happens? Automatically, the situations around you, the feelings around you have to match what you're feeling in your subconscious mind. It has to match, right? One way what you think will happen, the other way also, when you change the environment, the thoughts also will change. Like both ways it work. So in this case, the vibration of eating cookies will automatically has to match with what you're strongly visualizing in your mind. So the eating cookies or that everything will, the situations will arise in such a way to match with your visualization. It automatically changes. You don't have to do anything.
Kiran, if I
The
may,
power. What the experiments have been saying about.
Kiran, if I may add one small detail, which I have seen in my work through my patients. This mechanism, when you say that the external adapts to to that vibration, right? When the external adapts to that vibration, part of the process is our conscious attention, because the change can happen through that exercise you spoke about earlier, right? You see the red color and then your attention was there. So that also has to be part of the process. I mean, that's the way I see it. Correct me if I'm wrong. Because if you don't have our attention right in that moment, we can't, the process will be arduous, will be longer. But the more we have our attention in the present moment, the easier it will be for us to be coherent with that vibration.
Absolutely. The attention to be here and now, attention to be here and now is very, very important. That's why they say when you're eating food, your attention should be completely on the food, paying the attention with gratitude for getting the nourishment for the food. But when you're eating and looking somewhere else or watching TV, then yeah, the vibrations mismatch. So you don't get what you're supposed to get from here. So that is the reason, even while drinking water with intention, you charge the water with your thoughts. And that will bring a huge shift in your health, in your thoughts, in your feeling, because the universe is just acting on to get you to the destination. That is the job of the universe. It keeps doing, but it also listens to what you feel. So when we keep this in alignment, things will start to happen.
Kiran, can I share one last thing before
Sure.
we move on to the next session? When you spoke about the attention and how you're doing one thing but two things at the same time. I remember the only time in school, in higher secondary school in Parthi, the only time I studied for my exams with music. It gave me the result right away in the exams, and I'll tell you how. I was studying chemistry, right? Already it was a tough subject for me. I'm studying chemistry and I was listening to music while I was memorizing everything, right? And I promise you, I swear to you, when I was there with the question paper in front of me, uh, reading the question, the song came to mind, not the answer of what I was studying. So you see where my attention was. Never again I studied with music.
Exactly.
I add something small, something. Last year, I have, cats. One of them was highly, it's a stray cat, and it is not possible to take him in arms or, do normal things like the other cats. Last year, this cat got sick, like coughing and all kinds of things, right? So obviously, we had to bring him to the vet. It was not possible, so we could not bring him to the vet. I had to give medicines. It was not possible. Whatever I tried, I separated him from the other cats. Whatever I tried, nothing worked. And then he stopped eating, right? So it was going downward spiral. At this point, I remembered a book I had, which actually you charge the water with, intentions, So because there was nothing else more to be done, I took, together with the vet, we set a profile, so to speak. And we charged that water with specific conditions and intentions, right? The next day, I gave the water to this animal it started eating again. And within 2-3 days, it was completely healed, like there was nothing. Even today, when something happens, a little cough here and there, or where anything that happens with this cat, what works is intention. You charge the water, you set out a plan. I'm not going to go into details. You give it to him. The next day, it miraculously works. So this really, really works. Intention works, but you have to realize that, if I decide to go from here to Mudanahalli, in my mind, I can go right here and right now. But, for it to happen in this world physically, to manifest it, it depending on the situation, it might take a little time. So we have to believe and we have to trust the process. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, Daya.
Kiran, maybe another one. If we are now talking, basically we are talking about ourselves, yes? What mechanism would work if we would extend that to our surrounding, our family, a company, the town, the country, the world, the universe? Then, if everybody would do that, this is the language of the universe.
Absolutely. This is what Swami is trying to do. This is exactly what Swami is trying to do. What he's saying in the Master the Mind series. He's making us go into dharana 9 times 9 times 9. So during the time, after all your thoughts, he wants us only one single thought. And what is that thought? I am God. I am God. So then everything around us starts to shift. When you shift, things around it's like a chain reaction. Everything starts shifting. But everybody does this. Then Swami has to create a different world because this becomes a heaven.
Kiran, I think we have to wrap up the session. Thank you. Thank you, really. I think, again, I speak for everyone present for this wonderful session. It couldn't be put in clearer words. And I'd like to close with what Arun Balav has written over here. Aham Brahmasmi Sarvam Kalvidam Brahma. Thank you. Thank you, Kiran, again. We have our last session for this conference. It is going to be an interactive session, highly interactive, even more than I think what we have done till now. Apologies, you can't see me. Yeah. And Marco Skuger will be running the session. It is a quiz on the Master the Mind discourse series. So there will be a series of questions. Actually, you know what? I'll let Marco introduce the section to you, please. Marco, please go ahead.
Thanks, Victory. Salam. I hope you can hear me, everybody. So yeah, we're gonna do a little bit different something now, and it's now your turn, and we're gonna do, like Victory said, a mastermind quiz, like a game show quiz. So first, to give you a little bit of an introduction, Master the Mind is a series of discourses Swami has been giving to us all since the spring on Vedanta and how to apply Vedanta to reach God and to realize our own divinity. And it really, in the Sai community, it's really been such a staple material in the past months. And it is the very essence of Sanatana Dharma itself. And we've thought to incorporate it into our conference on Sanatana Dharma, but in a slightly different way, slightly more interactive way. So we're going to do like a game show quiz, and we're going to try to answer a set of questions correctly as part of a group. So how are we going to do this? So we will divide everyone into groups using breakout rooms. That is a feature of Zoom. And basically that allows us to split into groups in separate chat rooms, separated from others in the call. And of course, there will be one coordinator in each room who will help the group with all the stuff during the quiz and moderate the discussion. So nobody really has to do anything technically in this aspect, except when the breakout rooms open, there will be a small window, like a small prompt, where you just have to accept that you wish to switch to the breakout room. Also, same thing for coming back. So it's really simple. So we're going to be switching back and forth a little bit, not too much. We're going to do 2 questions per round. So every round, basically, I will pose 2 questions in the chat, and I will also read them out loud. And then I will open the breakout rooms, and everyone will go to their breakout room with the rest of the group and discuss the answers to the questions and note them down. So there's going to be a time limit for the discussion. For both questions, it's going to be 5 minutes in total. And then the breakout rooms will close. We're going to come back to the main chat, and representatives from each group will write down the answers to me privately, so I can tally the scores. So then we're gonna give 2 new questions, and then breakout rooms will open and go back to discussion. So it's I hope you understand. So we're gonna give 2 questions, open the rooms. There's gonna be a discussion on the questions. Come back, give the answers, get new questions, and go back to the room. So it's kind of like that. So basically, active discussions on the questions are really encouraged from all in the group, but nobody is really forcing anyone of anything if they don't wish to, of course. And the answers to the questions, they're not necessarily just like a word or two, but a short explanation can also be given that kind of shows an understanding of the concept. So the whole idea of this quiz is to bring awareness of what mastermind is, and to encourage us to go through this series completely, because Swami has put so much focus, so much emphasis on it, and it is so useful for our spiritual growth and to finally realize and go through the steps necessary to realize who we are. And this is kind of a fun way to do all that together at the end of our conference. So to repeat once more, I give 2 questions. We open the rooms. After discussion, one person who's chosen from each group writes the answers to me in the chat privately, and so that there's no overlap of the answers. And the first round will also have some extra time, just so you can also kind of introduce each other within the group and get to know each other, and if anything else needs to be cleared up. And also, please, no cheating. This is something that's going to be shown to Swami. There's going to be a report of the whole conference. So yeah, please don't cheat. This is just for fun. There's not going to be any prizes or anything. So, okay, Sarang. So let me, Victory, do I have the host
Oh, yes.
privileges?
1 second. Sorry.
So
1
I
second.
can create, the breakout rooms. I'm gonna need a little bit, a couple minutes to do that. In the meantime, does anybody have any questions at this point?
Start creating the rooms. Yeah.
So we're gonna create 7 rooms, and I will now assign like this. I have already a list here. So
At this point, you will get a prompt asking you if you want to accept entering into the breakout room. You have to just accept.
yes, so I really need a little bit of time. You can take a 2-minute break for this while I finish creating the rooms. It's gonna take a moment. I apologize, but it takes some time.
And the same thing will happen also when we get out of the other room, back to this room, right? We have to accept the prompt.
Yes, yes, that's correct. Yeah, that is correct. Yeah. So,
And Malta speaking here. To send you privately a message privately, we need to vote your name in the list below the chat.
in the chat, yeah, in the chat where you write the message, just above it, there is a small drop-down menu, and you can select my name, or you can just click on the blue link of the name itself. So it's really simple. So I'm also doing this now.
Will there be separate groups every time or the same group every time?
There's going to be the same group. So the breakout rooms, remember the options. So there's going to be.
Okay, so within the group, we will choose a representative, and that representative will give you the answers, correct?
Yes, yes, that's correct. So that is correct. I am not really done, but it's going. Just a second. Yeah, this might take a moment. There was no way to do this earlier. I apologize, but yeah, it's. I'm going to be done as soon as I can. All right, 3 more. Okay. 2 more. Okay. I think the last one, I'm just gonna wrap up like this. Okay, so I think that is it. I have the rooms created. So right now I'm gonna, in the chat, I'm gonna read the questions. I'm gonna add the questions and read them to everybody now. So question number 1 is, everyone, and two is this. Okay. So question number 1 is, what did Adi Shankaracharya say when his guru asked him, "Who are you?" And question number 2, name the 3 main types of yoga. So I think these questions will remain in your chats when you go to your rooms. But yes, so moderators, you will help with the discussion, and I will open all the rooms now. You just have to click to accept to go to the room. Saram, welcome. This is going to happen a few times now.
Are we supposed to write you now or?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, please. So now is the moment where the representatives or moderators can write the answers to the questions privately to me, and I will write down the
Okay, so message to Marco.
Exactly. Okay. Okay. This. Are you managing everything fine? How was the discussion? Was everything okay?
Yeah, I think it went well.
Good, good. Did you have enough time? Was it too much time? Not enough? We can change that if necessary.
I think it was okay, depending on the question.
Yeah, maybe. We had too much time. We chatted something else.
Okay.
It was nice as well.
Okay, so maybe I cut down, but some questions are going to require more.
You're not gonna make us feel in an exam room, are you?
A little bit.
Oy.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to write now. You can keep giving the answers. I'm going to write now the new questions, question 3 and question 4. I think this is going well so far. So let's see the next round. The next round will have definitely less time because no introductions are necessary. So this is this. So question 3 says, what are yama and niyama? And question 4 says, Swami says being desireless is the only way to attain Brahman. However, having a desire to attain Brahman is also a desire in itself. Swami gives a nice example to say why this is a different kind of desire, and what example did Swami give? So I would just like to point out at this point that this is a Master the Mind quiz, and most of the stuff, all of the stuff is actually taken directly from Master the Mind. But if you have something else similar in line with what is asked in the question, and Swami said it at some point in a slightly different way, that is fine. I'm not going to, we pick the questions so that they can be answered more or less even by somebody who hasn't seen Master the Mind. But of course, that is a clear advantage, is that is the topic here. So giving the answers now, the questions, sorry. So this goes to everyone. Sairam. So copy these questions in your chat. So copy paste them in your own chat so you can see them there too. In the meantime, I will open the rooms now, and you again have 5 minutes for discussion, and then I see you back in 5 minutes. Okay, Sairam. Ram, is everything okay? Are you having some trouble joining the rooms? Ram? Ram, welcome back. The representatives can write their answers to me. And in the meantime, I will write down the questions 5 and 6. Yes, now answer questions 3 and 4 privately to me in chat. Yes.
Marco, how many questions do you have for us?
I think we're more limited by time rather than by questions. I have questions for days, so we can stop whenever. I think Victor, you can say when is the best time to stop.
Yeah, let's do another round. I think another round is okay.
Okay. So, question number 5. According to Swami, who or what are our two best friends. And question number 6, what is the difference between the human and animal mental faculties regarding discrimination? As a hint, small hint. So copy paste these questions into your own chats in the rooms. In the meantime, if you finished posting the answers, I will open the rooms. Even when the rooms are open, somebody can stay behind if they haven't yet opened, gave the answers. So I'm going to open the rooms now. You have the questions. Sairam, see you all in 5 minutes. Sairam.
Where did you post the questions?
Oh, they're in the chat. They're in the chat. You can copy them. They're right.
Okay, I see.
Yeah,
Thanks.
they're up here.
Marco, I didn't receive the link to enter the chat room.
Maybe try minimizing one window, or it could be like behind the window or something like that. It should be there. It should definitely be there. So.
No, I don't know why.
No,
Sorry.
I
don't
you're
know.
unsigned. Okay. What? I see. What group are you? What room were you in?
Sixth room.
Which? Sorry?
Sixth room.
Room 6. Okay, here we go. Now? I think you can just join somewhere. Find a... Okay. Everything okay?
Yes, we just finished the answer, so
you guys are quick.
Able to
You can write them. You can write them. Okay.
Typing takes longer.
If we're doing another round, we can do another round. Okay. So we have 10 more seconds anyway. These are efficient. Okay, that's my alarm. Welcome back, everyone. It's really fun to see you all pop back in.
Hi.
Okay, you can post your answers. I keep confusing those two. You can post your answers. What do you say, Victory? Would do one more, or is there no time? Up to you.
I think. Guys, what do you guys think?
I think, Marco, we can deliberate on the answers, because spending a little time on the answers with giving a little bit around that is I think we can stop here.
Okay, I can give the correct answers, although I think most of you all gave the correct answers already. Actually, Kieran, can you help me a little bit with that?
Sure.
While I tally up the scores. So the first question, we can go through question by question. There's not too many of them now.
Now I have the questions, yeah.
Yeah.
So what did Adi Shankara say when his guru asked him, "Who are you?" So most of you, I think Marco says, got the right answer. So this is the Nirvana Shatakam. So the Nirvana Shatakam, what Swami in Mudanali and Swami also is saying everybody should learn, is the answer what was given by Adi Shankara to his guru, Gaudapada. So what he says basically is, I'm not the body, I'm not the family, I'm not. So he will all say, I'm not this, I'm not that, but I am the pure consciousness. Shivoham, Shivoham. That is the answer. So the second question is, name the three main types of yoga. So in Bhagavad Gita, if you see, the three main types what Krishna preaches is Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and Jnana Yoga. So these are the three main types of yoga.
Third? Was it third?
Okay, question number 3. What are Yama and Niyama? So if you see in the Patanjali's Ashtanga Yoga, what Swami preaches, how do you, in the first aspect with Karma Yoga, how do you remove your impurities of the mind? How can we remove? So Patanjali describes in a very sequential order what are the things what are needed to clean up your mind. And first one is Yama, which is the conduct which you do for the surroundings. So that is one is a personal conduct and one is societal conduct. So Yama, Niyama. So the rules what you follow for personal conduct are the 5 human values. So if you follow them, like don't tell the untruth, tell only truth, Satya, Dharma, Shanti, Prema. So these are all comes under Niyama. And the Yama is the societal, don't steal. These are the 5 different things that we have to follow to get the impurities of the mind removed. So that is the answer to the question. And question 4, Swami says, being desireless is the only way to attain Brahman. However, having a desire to attain Brahman is also a desire in itself. So Swami gives a beautiful example in the Master of the Mind. So at one point, Swami says you should not have desires. At the other time, having the desire to attain Brahman is also a desire. You should not even have that. So how do we answer this? It's like a paradox. So what Swami says, when you eat food, generally Brahmins, they get very, they don't get to eat a lot of food. So when they eat a lot of food. But then when you eat a lot of food, all of a sudden, your food doesn't digest. So why you eat is to satiate your hunger, right? So to remove the hunger, you eat. But to digest, what do? You eat a piece of ginger. You're not eating to satiate your hunger. You're just eating to digest the food. So having the desire to attain Brahman or self-realization is eating that ginger, which will make you digest everything. So that is not in a desire by itself. You're not eating in terms of satiating your hunger, but you're eating to digest everything. So the desire of having the realization is something like that ginger, eating ginger. That's the example he gives.
Thank you, Karen. I think before we get to questions 5 and 6, I didn't get any answers for questions 5 and 6 from group 4.
So I was trying to type the answer and I forgot the question.
Okay. Do you remember? Did you manage to discuss some of these questions?
Yes. Yeah, we have the answer ready. We don't know.
You're free. You still have time. Nobody knows the answers yet. I mean, we haven't disclosed them.
Oh, okay. Okay. Where can we see the question? We forgot the question.
The question was, according to Swami, who or what are our two best friends?
Oh, yeah. We are typing now.
Okay. And question number 6 was, what is the difference between the human and animal mental faculties? And I have to say, you all really answered well. I'm really happy with how this turned out. And yeah, I'm sorry that we really are out of time and cannot really go on that much, because I think this would be a really interesting exercise to see how much we memorize from what Swami was saying and how much we understand.
Yeah, we typed. We are done. We have typed the answer. Yeah, we are good.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, that's a good answer. So yeah, I guess Kiran, you can take it away for questions 5 and 6. You were doing so well.
All right, okay, no problem.
I don't want to intrude on that.
Maybe 5 and 6, you go ahead, Marco. You have the answers, right? So please go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. So the first was well, Swami was talking about what we should really cling on to on our path, self-realization, and during our sadhana, especially when we are facing all the challenges in the world and making the choices that we need to make to really become pure and desireless and free. He said that discrimination or viveka and attachment or vairagya, we should really consider them as our two best friends because they never leave our side and they're always there to help us in this process. We can always count on them to be there for us when we need them. And the difference between the human and animal mental faculties. So we know that animals are driven by their lower faculties, their instincts, their impulses, but man was granted the ability to discriminate beyond his instincts using his higher mind, the buddhi, and that again consists of detachment and discrimination, and that's how we are kind of different from animals in that sense. So yeah, Sairam, do we end here? Victory?
Yes, Sairam.
I hope, first of all, I hope you'll like this.
I think it was a great session. It was a great session. It was very effective, I think. Very effective technically, very effective also to give us a chance to interact. And as a first experience for us, at least for me, it's been the first experience using breakout rooms. I think we can use this experience to, set up future meets also and do this again, because it's very productive, I think. I think you agree.
I do. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, I liked it. But which team had the best answers?
Very important. Let's tally up the scores. Just a second. Let's see. 2, 3. All right. 4. 8.
Not important. Good night, Sairam. Bye-bye. No, I'm kidding.
No. All right. I will immediately call out groups 5 and 6 for having the perfect score. Thank you very much. You know who you are.
Thank you all.
Aham
Yeah.
Brahma. I know who I am.
Sairam, this is really fun for me too. Yeah, thank you all.
Thank you again.
Thank you for initiating this. Thank you a lot. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Sairam.
Yesterday,
Thank you,
after,
Sairam.
after the conference session, I was thinking that thanks to all the coordinators who helped organize this, I could actually experience what it means when they say there is no I in teamwork. It was really beautiful. It was amazing to work together. It was amazing to be able to be with all of you. We would like to end this conference with the prayer session from Malte.
Thank you very much.
Sairam, inviting all of you now to pray to our dearest Swami and to our Lord Ganesha that we all of us, the entire creation, all the beings in all the worlds, may be emerged in and guided by Sanathana Dharma forever. May our thoughts, words and deeds be immersed in Sanathana Dharma. And therefore we invite you to repeat Lord Ganesha's name to remove all the obstacles. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. 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 Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.
जगदीश हरे स्वामी सत्य साई हरे भक्त जना संरक्षक भक्त जना संरक्षक जय महेश्वरा ओम जय जगदीश हरे जय शिव कला श्री कला सर्वार्थाणपते स्वामी सर्वार्थाणपते आश्रित कल्पदीपा आश्रित कल्पदीपा आकल्पार्थका ओम जय जगदीश जय बोलो भगवान श्री सत्य साई बाबा जी की जय।
Thank you, everyone. Jai Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Thank you.
Sairam.
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 Ram.
Sairam.
Saram.
Many thanks.
Sairam, thank you.
Thank you.
Sairam, thank you.